Imagine hiring the guy who wished demise on 9/11 first responders and also picking up the Destroyer franchises to boot. That's Warner Brothers these days. And this isn't the first franchise that they've messed up, but this one, they are messing up spectacularly. Now, as far as Ta-Nehisi Coates, I'm going to read you the entirety of what he had to say about 9/11 first responders. See, when this first came up a few years ago, I picked up all his books. I decided I wanted to hear what exactly he had to say because quotes were out there, but they weren't in context. When I pulled this up in context, it sounded even worse. Why? Because it sounded selfish. All it said was me, 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 me. Now you tell me, when I read this to you, does this sound like somebody that understands Superman, that understands Captain America too, because he was rewarded with Captain America in comics? Yeah, this stuff, it just keeps going on and on and on. So hey there to you, by the way. So first things first, I'm going to read you exactly what he had to say. See, a lot of people, like I'm saying, they will put the idea out there. They'll tell you what he supposedly had to say, but they won't give you the context of what he's saying. I'm going to give it to you. I may stop a little bit in it to explain something that comes up, but yeah, here it is. So we arrived 2 months before September 11, 2001. I suppose everyone who was in New York that day has a story. Here is mine. That evening, I stood on a roof of an apartment building with your mother, your aunt, and her boyfriend. So we were there on the roof, talking and taking in the sights. Great plumes of smoke covered Manhattan Island. Everyone knew someone who was missing. But looking out upon the ruins of America, my heart was cold. Now from here, he's going to bring up the shooting of Prince Jones. If you don't know about that, I would encourage you to look it up. But he spends chapters talking about Prince Jones, and now he's going to utilize him as a reason where he can wish death upon other people. So the officer who killed Prince Jones, like all the officers who regard us so warily, was the sword of American citizenry. I would never consider any American citizen pure. I was out of sync with the city. I kept thinking about how southern Manhattan had always been ground zero for us. They auctioned our bodies down there in that same devastated and rightly named financial district. And there was once a burial ground for the auction there. They built a department store over part of it and then tried to erect a government building over another part. Only a community of right-thinking black people stopped them. I had not formed any of this into coherent theory, but I do know that bin Laden was not the first man to bring terror to that section of the city. I never forgot that. Neither should you. Now, I really want you to pay attention to this next part here. Why? Because, well, just listen to it. In the days after, I watched the ridiculous pageantry of flags, the machismo of firemen, the overwrought slogans. Damn it all. Prince Jones was dead, and hell upon those who tell us to be twice as good and shoot us no matter. Now, there's more in just a second, but really drink in what was said there. Pause it, go back, and reflect if you need to. But continuing, hell for the ancestral fear that put black parents under terror, and hell upon those who shattered the holy vessel. Now, listen to this. This tells you in no uncertain terms what he thinks. I could see no difference between the officers that killed Prince Jones and the police who died, or the firefighters who died. So he's not just talking about officers, he's talking about firefighters too. They were not human to me, black, white, or whatever. They were menaces of nature. They were fire, the comet, the storm, which could, with no justification, shatter my body. Let's read that again with a different backdrop. They were not human to me, black, white, or whatever. They were menaces of nature. They were the fire, the comet, the storm, which could, with no justification, shatter my body. All of these people, these are firefighters. All of these people, we said, they don't matter at all. All of these folks that gave their lives trying to save other people, yeah, he somehow saw himself in this. He saw the selfish, not the selfless. And that really sticks with me. See, when I think about a character like a Superman or a Captain America, again, he's represented both. I think about faces like this. I don't think about a Ta-Nehisi Coates, because these are the people that truly understand a Captain America. America. They truly understand a Superman. I would say even better than a Superman or a Captain America does. Why? Because these folks, they were just regular people. And yet on that day, they decided to rush into something that everyone else was running away from. Why? Because they wanted to save people. See, Ta-Nehisi Coates, he pays lip service to being a hero. He likes talking about things like the pageantry of flags. Well, you know what the pageantry of flags is? The pageantry of flags is you and I coming together and saying we are unified in something. We are unified in our mourning. We are unified in solidarity. We want to stand together and we want to remember these folks. It's the same way when he's talking about the machismo of firemen. Firemen come out, they mourn people like this. And moreover, they can see themselves on these faces. Why? Because it could have been them. Every day, their lives are like that. But someone like Ta-Nehisi Coates, he can say, oh, those people, they could do this thing to me any day. But he can't understand why firefighters would go out. They would mourn the loss of friends. They would mourn the loss of colleagues. But also, they would mourn the loss of strangers. Because again, this could have been them at any time. Now, that was just firefighters. As far as police officers go, you had 23 that died that day, including 4 sergeants and 2 detectives. As a result of everything that happened, though, on 9/11, you had 71 officers die. These are all of their faces. I can't even fit them on one showing. But look at all of the faces. Look at all of the diverse faces at that. And again, Ta-Nehisi Coates, he was not only okay with that, he wished demise upon these people. Now, in addition to that, you have one member of the New York Fire Patrol, and also you have private emergency medical services. You have technicians and paramedics, 8 of them. And I mean, look at some of these descriptions here. Here, for example, I mean, this is one, many people share this distinction too. 24-year-old, a single mother. They have an 8-year-old kid. That 8-year-old kid, they're never going to see their mother walk through the door. That's not all of the names either. I mean, all told, we're talking about 2,977 victims of the September 11th attacks, 412 whom were emergency workers in New York City who responded to the World Trade Center. That doesn't talk about health complications either, because droves of people died in the aftermath of this too. But again, Ta-Nehisi Coates, he sees himself, and he's talking about what he saw in the aftermath. We're not talking about years later. He stood on top of a building. He watched that building burn, and all he thought about was himself. He thought those people, they deserve to die. He has never come out. He has never said anything about that. And you know what? In a world where we punish people for 280 character tweets all the time, we destroy lives and we destroy them with impunity. How exactly does this get rewarded? And make no mistake, he has been rewarded for his thoughts on this and so many other things. Like I said, he was given jobs by Marvel. He was given jobs by DC. He has been rewarded by 2 of the biggest companies out there. And anybody that brings it up, oh, you're an istophobe. You hate the guy because. No, I hate the fact that he wished death upon diverse individuals. And somehow, in some way, that's not a problem. But hey, again, I don't understand Superman, right? But anyway, that's the news there. This is the guy that's going to be writing for Warner Brothers. And yeah, they keep messing up franchises. But anyway, remember too, this is a company with $152 billion in debt. They can't stand backlash, but they deserve it. But anyway, let me know what you think about this. As always, appreciate the heck out of you. And I'm going to end it here. I don't want to talk about links or anything else. This subject, it makes me mad, to be honest. I've had to cut several times in this because it makes me really mad. But anyway, thank you.